Today, guys, we'll be exploring the Delta Flight Museum here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be filled with content and a full tour, so let's get straight into it. Starting off, when you enter the Flight Museum, you start off with the prop era, and you're greeted with a magnificent twin prop plane here. This beautiful twin prop is the Douglas DC-3. This plane was built in the 1940s and has a beautiful metallic aluminum frame, as you guys can see. This particular aircraft was used for the U.S. mail. Moving on, we have this beautiful single prop orange and black plane. This was Delta's Air Service. I don't know the particular aircraft model or type because for some reason I didn't look at the information. Now onto those exhibits you might have just seen along the wall there. Starting off with the Douglas M-2, we have many memorabilia items here. Feel free to pause if you want to look over any of the information or take a closer look at any of the items here on display. This segment of the video is a little lengthy as I just kind of go over each section. I'm not going to be explaining each item because, like I said, it is a little bit lengthy, but again, feel free to pause and take a closer look at any of these items. Moving on to the next display, speed, safety, and comfort. Next is the Lockheed 10 Electra. The next section is Delta Airlines, the airline of the South. This is the DC-3. It's that same exact model that you just saw in the beginning of the video, but this one used for passengers. That metal thing you see there is the DC-3's automatic direction finder. It was used to transmit the plane's location. The next section is the Douglas DC-6. The next section up, Delta Airlines, to and through the South. The next and final section is the Douglas DC-7. That completes this whole row of exhibits here at Delta's Flight Museum. Moving on to the aircraft model room. This is one of my favorite rooms, as the room is completely full with aircraft models. You can even see a Pan Am 747 there. along with a see-through 747 Pan Am. Although this is Delta's flight museum, this room is full of other airliners. This top row is filled with nothing but 747s of various airliners that you don't really see too often or at all. That big Delta tail you see there belongs to the Delta Airlines 747, which we'll actually be checking out later in this video, so definitely stay tuned till the end. This shelf in front of me here consists of all the current aircraft model types that Delta uses today. And this pretty much sums it up for the aircraft model room here at the Delta Flight Museum. Pretty cool room overall and lots of aircraft carriers. This cool tunnel is going to lead us to the Jet Age exhibit. As soon as you enter and look to your left, you see a flight board for arrivals and departures here at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport here in Atlanta, Georgia. This beautiful aircraft that you see as soon as you walk in is the Spirit of Delta Boeing 767. We're gonna have another memorabilia section of the video here. We have the Convair 880 cockpit here. So without further ado, let's go take a look inside. As soon as I walked in, I saw how many buttons there were. I knew that this was definitely one old aircraft. Still pretty cool looking. You can see the instrument panel here. And that was, again, the Convair 880 cockpit. This section is also pretty cool since they have some older engines on display. Honestly, when I looked down and I saw this, I was actually generally confused, but apparently back then they used to use these tricycles they get from one hangar to the next. They have a flight simulator here at the museum. It's not in use at the moment, but we actually will be seeing somebody using it a little bit later in the video. For some reason, this thing was just kind of tucked in the corner. I was a little confused on what this was used for. Why was it here? But I guess it was for a collaboration that Delta did with some other different companies. I'm making my way up the stairs so we can go and check out the inside of that Spirit of Delta 767. And after some time, I finally made it here to the jetway, and we're going to be entering again the Spirit of Delta 767. Here you can see the jetway controls. But making our way in, we're going to take a left here, and we'll see the inside of the 767 cockpit. Moving away from the cockpit, we're making our way to where the passengers would be sitting. You can see that those seats in the front were made out of leather, but these in the back were made out of some type of cloth material. On board the Spirit of Delta 767, there's more memorabilia items and some information. So again, feel free to pause the video at any moment to read some of this info or look at any of the items on display. This section of the video will show you 8 decades of the different flight attendant outfits throughout the years. Here we have the first male flight attendant uniform for Delta Airlines. The last set of uniforms here are the 2018 to present uniforms, so a nice dark shade of purple. Moving all the way to the back of the aircraft here. Here's where the flight attendants would be preparing the meals for the passengers on board the 767 Spirit of Delta. After a successful mission to the moon from NASA, airline companies like Delta started to advertise space travel, as that's what they thought would become popular and possible back then.
It was almost like going back and starting the jet age over again when we had this new, modern, the state-of-the-art airplane going in service at Delta.
You look at the plane and you realize what it means.
Ship 102 represents Delta Airlines. It's our spirit. It's what's behind us. You can feel it when you walk in the door.
Every employee remembers the first time they rode that aircraft. Not the first time they rode a 767 or an L-1011, but they know the first time they rode an aircraft with the tail number of 102, Spirit of Delta. And that's what I think makes the airplane so special.
Moving to the outside of the 767 Spirit of Delta, we make our way over to this cockpit, which is a Lockheed L-1011 fuselage. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to go inside this one because it was closed off. Now I'm going to make my way over to the flight simulator here. As you can see, it's now in use, and we're going to go and check it out. Although that landing was a little on the rough side, still a pretty cool simulator that you can pay and fly. Making our way inside the Delta Flight Museum gift shop, you can see they have model airplanes. I actually bought one myself. I actually bought that thank you livery Delta Airlines model there. They get a nice selection of shirts, hats, bags, magnets, stickers of all Delta branded. This pretty much sums up the Delta Flight Museum gift shop. They have a wide range of items that are available for purchase. But now, for the moment we've all been waiting for. Moving outside, we have the Queen of the Skies, Delta Airlines 747. Starting things off, they have this custom-made Mini Cooper that's supposed to look like a plane. We're now going to start off with a nice walk around of the 747. Walking over and taking a closer look at the main landing gear on the 747, they're pretty big. That orange pipe you kind of see on the ground there, that is the air conditioning unit, which pumps air into the inside of the airplane, which we'll be making our way inside later. Now making our way inside the 747. This is actually my first time inside a passenger 747. My dad is taking me inside a cargo 747, but never a passenger one. So first impressions, pretty good. It's actually pretty spacious. Making our way over to the nose of the aircraft, we have the Delta One seats. Taking a closer look at these Delta One seats, this one was in its fully flat position. I think you got plenty of legroom. But actually sitting inside this seat, it was pretty comfortable for being an old aircraft. You can pop open the in-flight entertainment system. Bring it closer if you want. Clicking that back in. We even have the in-flight entertainment remote to control it. Obviously a little dated, but hey, it worked. Opening these windows were a little difficult, but I got it. With this Delta One seat, you actually get access to 2 windows and not just one. And with that pretty much sums up the Delta One seat on board the 747. Now making our way upstairs to the top level of the 747. Just like downstairs, we have the Delta One seat. This seat overlooks the wing. Now making our way to the cockpit of the 747. To our right, we have the bathroom used by the crew. The cockpit is equipped with 2 extra seats. The cockpit itself is pretty cool looking. You can see the entirety of the instrument panel here. You can see the outside view from the cockpit. Of course, we have all those buttons and switches. Seeing a 747 cockpit was definitely one of the coolest things. I'm glad to see that the Queen herself is still continuing to fly even today. Just across from the bathroom was this sleeping area for the crew to get some rest. We're now going to make our way downstairs so we can go check out the rest of the 747. This is the air duct system of the 747. It's definitely quite big, as it did need to distribute air across the entirety of the aircraft. Moving on to one of my favorite parts of the 747 here on display is the wing walk. Upon walking outside, not only was I hit with a wave of heat and humidity, I was hit within a spectacular view of the wing of the 747 and the outside of the Delta Flight Museum here, as well with the tail of the 747. As the name suggests, I'm literally standing on the wing of the 747. I got one of the engines down below. From here, you can see that Mini Cooper we saw in the beginning. You can also see Delta Airlines' 757 and the control tower. Making our way back inside, we see some information relating to the 747. The wingspan of the 747 is 211 feet and 5 inches. Who would have known? I found this section of the wall to be pretty cool, as it shows all the uses for the 747, that it wasn't just for passengers, but rather a variety of different uses. And this is the pressure dome of the 747. At the far back of the 747 is where the crew resting area was. Upon going upstairs, I noticed that it was a little dark, so I had to use a flashlight. But you could still see the beds in which the crew members of the 747 aboard this Delta Airlines would sleep. And that pretty much sums up what they have on display here on the 747 of Delta Airlines. I really hope you guys enjoyed this full tour of the 747 along with the inside of the Delta Flight Museum. Definitely a cool spot if you're ever near the area of Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and until next time, see you guys.